Good afternoon. It's Don here with another King Don Ramble. Um, so today's topic kind of goes to with a lot of these topics asked. The question seems to always go, should we ban this? Should we ban that? Should we eliminate this? Should we interfere in this? And I thought before I get more into that, and maybe I should have done this first, I don't know. We'll talk about my opinion on banning things, because I think that is something that we've taken on in our society over the years. And it's not just the left and it's not just the right. Both sides of the center line seem to want to ban everything. Everything should be banned. Don't like liver, gotta ban it. Don't like the color orange, gotta ban it. Don't like wood houses, gotta ban it. Don't like paper bags, gotta ban them. Don't like straws, gotta ban them. Right? Banning. Don't like people smoking, gotta ban it. Don't like people drinking, gotta ban it. Drugs should be banned. This should be banned. Everything should be banned. And I think we really need to stop that. Right? There are some obvious things that do need to be banned or significantly controlled. Right? We all agree that murdering people should be banned. We all agree that assaulting people against their will should be banned. We all agree that child pornography should be banned. We all agree that, or we should at least all agree that racism should be banned, hate should be significantly controlled, right? But I think the concept of I don't like something or something offends me, we need to ban it. I think that concept needs to be kind of pushed to the side a little bit. It really does need to be looked at and addressed in a very stern fashion. When people come to governments and say we need to ban something, I think the government needs to go, whoa, let's look at this. So you want to ban straws? We get you don't like straws. We get there's an environmental impact in an area that doesn't really affect us. So should we be banning straws? What is there something in your life that you use as a convenience that you're willing to give up to accommodate that ban? Because if you're going to take somebody else's right to choose something, a product, you have to give something up that you actually will be upset about losing. Right? We can't, people have the right to use a straw. They don't have a right to throw it on the ground. We can address littering. Right? That's something that we can address. Littering should be banned, but straws should not. Okay? But we do. We get into all kinds of what's the word I want to use? We get into all kinds of offenses and finding problems with stuff that we need to ban it. And I think when a ban is considered, it has to be, is it protected by the Charter of Rights and Freedoms? Is it a safety issue? A general, realistic safety issue? Is it a common problem? If we continue to let this happen, is it going to harm people, or is it just going to annoy you? Right? I don't like liver. Can you imagine the outcry if I went on a campaign and started to ban liver? I know people who love liver. Right? They're going to get upset. Right? So if I'm going to go and propose that we should ban liver, I need to be willing to give up pie, for example. And that's not going to happen. So before I start campaigning that I take away something that somebody else might enjoy, we have to ask ourselves, is it a charter protected activity? Well, I don't know if eating liver is charter protected. It could be expression and opinion, and you have freedom of those. But then it goes into, is it a safety issue? For the general population, if we allowed people to eat liver, is it going to harm people? Probably not. Right? Is it relevant to our area? Right? Can it be addressed in some other way? For example, sir, don't eat liver. Right? I believe that, we're going to come up, there's a couple of questions here that talk about religion and religious expression, and should we allow it in certain areas? And the question then becomes, is it a charter protected activity? Freedom of religion is a charter protected activity. Killing me because I don't agree with you, or discriminating against me because I don't agree with your religion, is not a charter protected activity. Right? You may not like that I don't believe in your deity or support your deity. It's not necessarily that I don't believe in your deity. I may very well believe that your deity existed or exists. I just don't subscribe to it. I don't subscribe to the teachings of certain faiths. And I should not be harmed because I have those views. I should not be silenced because I have those views. Right? I think the platform and the way I present my opposition is important. Right? I don't necessarily think, actually I do. I think we should be able to protest outside of religious organizations. I can't go inside. Right? But I do believe I could protest on the outside. And there again, right? People will say, no, you shouldn't be allowed to protest. Yeah, you should be allowed to protest. Right? I don't believe in burning crosses as a sign of protest. I do believe honking horns is. Okay? We recently had elections and people are saying a candidate should not have run. Well, actually, there should have been more candidates. And I know some people go, well, that's this and that and whatever. Here's the thing. People need to stop trying to intervene and take away people's rights and freedoms. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't mean you have the right to take that person's right away. Because that person could very easily say to you, okay, we get it. You don't like my political views. You're not allowed to express your political views. I'm not a supporter of the NDP party. I'm not a supporter of conservative parties. I'll publicly state that any time of the day or week. Right? Does that mean that people shouldn't be allowed to vote for those parties? Of course not. They should, of course, vote for the party of their choice. Right? But people in those parties or supporters of those parties can't come to me and say to me, you can't have a voice unless it aligns with ours. And that's what a lot of people say when they say that candidate shouldn't run. Or if you vote for that candidate, you vote for this party. If you don't think that me voting for a libertarian party should be allowed, you shouldn't be allowed to vote for your party. And that's going to offend some people, but hey, guess what? If my voice gets silent, so does yours. If you want your right to your opinion, you can't ban me from voting for a particular party. You can't discriminate me. You can't make accusations to me. I don't care that a particular person won an election if people are out there voting. I want people to take their voice and make it known. Right? And so when we start banning things, where do we draw the line? Okay? It shouldn't be the go-to. It should be the exception. We need to put this in place for the security of all. Right? We agree that homicides should not be allowed unless there's a specific reason that a person's life should be ended for the safety of the community. Right? That's another discussion, and I do believe it's in here. That we agree that we can't go running around just at will hitting people. Right? We agree that we can't run around and say, you have blue eyes, so we don't like you. You can't be a part of the free society. And we do that. It's very common now. People will make statements that this event reminds me of Nazi Germany, and then they'll go and turn around and say this nationality should be kicked out of the country. So urging people to get a vaccine is Nazi Germany. Racism against a nationality isn't? Come on. Quit being hypocrites. So if we're going to talk about banning, we need to talk about banning. Okay, I don't think the go-to in our society should ever be, I want to ban or kick something out or whatever. I may not agree with it. And if I don't agree with something, I have two choices. I can express my opinion, and that's something I really strongly think people need to start doing more of. Or two, I can just sit back and ignore what's going on around me. Right? People talk about immigrants. I don't like what you have to say. Quite often when I start seeing posts about immigrants, I just stop listening. Right? We're just going to stop. I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to engage in that conversation. And we're going to talk. I do believe immigration is an issue that comes up. But I just wanted to touch base on that. That I believe that we as a society, we need to look at, it shouldn't be, what's your opinion? Should we ban this or should we ban that? It should be, how can we seriously have a conversation on this issue? Is it something that needs to be addressed? Or is it my personal opinion that I disagree with something? Right? And if it's a personal opinion, is it something that I can work around, that I can accept, that I can maybe not necessarily accept, because there's things that people do that I don't like, and I'm not going to accept, and I'm not going to tolerate it. But I'm not going to go and say, because you have blue eyes, I'm going to ban you from society. Because you have a specific faith, we're going to ban you from society. I believe there's some things that people do that's not appropriate. And those things we can address. Should they be, are they of concern? Is it really an issue? Or is it a make-believe thing? And that's something we're going to look at over the years. But the question is, should we ban something? A lot of times is no. We shouldn't ban it. There are some things that should be. There are some things that should be really strictly controlled for the safety of people. Not an outright ban. That's my rant for today. Thank you very much. Take care.